Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's good to say that intro again. Welcome to the opening premiere pilot episode of the GeniusCast Season 4. I know you guys missed it. I sure missed it. We're back talking to some awesome people. If you guys have not seen the previous 3 seasons, the first season kind of wasn't very good, but Seasons 2 and 3 are up there on the channel to go and listen to for your viewing or listening pleasure. For those who don't know, I talk to developers and YouTubers, ask them questions sent by you guys, and we just sit back, relax, and have a good time. So we are kicking off Season 4 with, I would say, the dark horse, Taco Games. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, you?
I'm doing great. So, for those who don't know, Taco Games is the coder for the Mario 85 PC port, and he also created games like Five Nights at Wario's The Golden Lane. He's also working on, quote-unquote, Five Nights at Wario's 3, which is a, like, FNAF 3 Five Nights at Wario's hybrid, so that'll be interesting. And he's working on some other stuff, too. But we're going to dive in. We're going to ask Mr. Taco a few questions here, again, sent by you guys, and kind of get some insight onto what he's created and what he will create. So are you ready to dive in?
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to start off with our community tab questions. For those who are interested in being part of the show down the road and want to send in your questions, look out for the community tab posts that I make and my tweets, and be sure to join my Discord server. Link in the description. I have a brand new Discord server. It's called The Genius Arcade. Me and my lovely fiance made that, and it's brand new still. Y'all better join that. It's awesome in there. So that's another place you can ask questions for future episodes. But we're starting off with the community tab. Our first question is from Ben Gates. He's got 2 questions. The first one is, what is your favorite video game series?
Ooh, okay. So I have a lot of favorite video game series, but like generally considering most of the stuff that I'm into, it's as boring as it might be, it's probably FNAF. Bendy's also a pretty good contender, especially after like Dark Revival, because like that game, I started to like not like Bendy as much after seeing the inherent flaws of the original game, but after like seeing and playing Dark Revival, I just thought this Bendy's good. Like especially this game, it's really good.
I need to finish Dark Revival. It just I'm on chapter 3. I still need to go finish that, but from what I played, it's leagues better than the original. Like
the
way
graphics.
better. Yeah, graphics are better. Gameplay is better. It's not just a walking simulator anymore, and it's really good. I mean, I didn't hate the original Bendy. It just, again, it was a walking simulator, and I never understood the hype behind it, honestly.
Yeah, it was the style mostly, which I feel like a lot of people just care about the visuals of the game. Like, as an example, EXE games. It's if a game has good pixel art, then it's good. Not inherently like the story or the actual game's gameplay, which I really like about Dark Revival, especially because like in the original game it had like no move, or it did have movement. It was in chapters, but like it was all separate, so like it all came out at different times. But with this game, it's like all the chapters are like in one whole thing, and the map is all connected together, which really makes it more immersive, I guess.
Yeah, it's tight. It doesn't feel... It felt very disconnected with the original. Like, because you had to wait several months to play the next chapter, but it picks up right where the previous chapter left off, but it still felt super disconnected, yeah.
Especially with people who aren't that into the game anymore, let's just play the game, like, I don't know, like, just some big YouTuber that plays the game, they might not kind of... If they're not as into it as other people, they might not remember what happens, or just generally any players. So it helps to have an introduction to like what happened last time, or just, an interconnected game like with Dark Revival.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those wondering what my favorite video game series is, it's either down to... It would probably be The Legend of Zelda. I can't lie. Resident Evil is probably a close second, but like Zelda is more of a childhood video game series for me, and I think a lot of people who know me know how much I love Zelda. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom coming up in May. Anyway, yeah, I can see why FNAF and Bendy would be a couple of your favorites. They definitely have that iconic stay on the internet.
I also kind of grew up with those games, but like, I also really love Zelda, especially because I've been playing Breath of the Wild again after completing it like a long time ago. Such a good game.
Oh yeah, and like Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I love it because I'm on the hype train for a new Zelda game. And, like, since I got into Zelda when I was, like, 9 or 10, or maybe I was older than that, maybe 11 or 12, I wasn't really there a lot of the time when I knew a Zelda game would come out. So I didn't get to play Breath of the Wild when it first came out. I got to play Skyward Sword when it first came out, but this is the first time in years that I've been able to be on the hype train, ready to buy the new Zelda day one when it comes out. And I'm so excited, dude. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And, like, people need to have more faith in Tears of the Kingdom. Just because Breath of the Wild was good doesn't mean they can't top it or make it equally a good game, you know? Have faith in Nintendo.
I do, and Nintendo has made some missteps in the past couple years, for sure, but I think that they'll stick the landing with this one. I have faith. So, all right, and then Ben Gates' second question was, and this is about Mario 85, what do you think would happen if MX and Sonic.exe switched spots?
So basically what would happen is, like, Lucas would be in Mario 85, and then he'd see Sonic, and he's like, oh my god, is that a character that doesn't exist yet? No way. I love that guy. Or, and then he kills him or something. And then, like, in Sonic.exe, insert character name here, finds MX, and he's like, whoa, is that Mario from Mario.exe PC port 85? Wow.
So it would be a pretty meta moment then, from what I'm getting.
I don't really know what would actually happen. Just, you know.
Right, now people are going to want that. People are going to want a crossover.
Oh my god. I mean, PC port is kind of the closest thing, because original EXE, kind of bad. But, like, I really like Lord X.
Yeah, and I've been interested to see more of PC port, because I played it when in its demo form back in March of, that was almost a year ago already. That's crazy, dude. But I played the demo and I raged at it because that part where you had to go backwards in that one level was quite infuriating. But anyway, but yeah, I'm interested to see more of that whenever that comes.
Yeah.
All right, our next one is from Cosmic Cowboy. He's got 3 questions. The first one is, what is your favorite Five Nights at Wario's project that you've made?
Well, there was Dark Knights, which was an older game I made. But that one was more of a test project more than anything. But I gotta say, like, it's either FNAW 3, ironically, or Golden Lane, which are, like, basically my only 2 projects, FNAW related. But it's like, I'd say Golden Lane more because it's an actually serious project and not a joke game. But that doesn't, like, I'm trying to put actual effort into FNAF 3 still. Like, it isn't, like, just using the MFA of FNAF 3. Like, I completely recoded it myself, and I'm actually making changes to the game. So I'd say FNAF 3 is definitely up there, but I think Golden Lane is a more favorable one. And also High Cosmic Cowboy.
Well, I'm a fan of Golden Lane. I really liked what I played, because it's people compared it to Wario's Origins, which it does have a lot of similarities, but I like the differences, and I think the presentation's cool. You're in, like, an old castle, and the graphics are good. It's probably one of my favorite Wario's fan games from recent times, I would say.
Looking back at it, maybe I shouldn't have given you basically all 5 nights, because after that, while there is a lot of content still, it's like, there's only one mode, so it's like, there isn't, like, a full other campaign after that. So looking back at it, maybe I shouldn't have, but whatever.
Well, there was still day 6. There's still day 6, and I'd be willing to replay it through again. So yeah, it'll warrant another playthrough. It's got replayability.
Yeah.
So
trying to give it a lot of that.
So Cosmic Cowboy's next question is, where did you get your name from?
Okay, so I think that the first name I ever got was, like, Bendy Games, which I was like 10 or something back then. I don't remember, but it was like, I didn't really realize that, wait, that doesn't, you know, I didn't own Bendy. So then eventually I changed it to Taco Games, because that was kind of my thing. You know, I had a YouTube channel a long time ago, and it was like, or not a long time ago, but not in recent years I wasn't using it, and it was called Bendy and the Taco Machine, and it was like the Bendy with a taco hand puppet or something. So I guess that kind of transferred over, and then made the name Taco Games, and that's kind of where I got my name. I might change it in the future, but I feel like Taco Games also, like, a pretty recognizable name, or at least for people who know them.
Right.
And me.
But here's the real question: how do you feel about Taco Tuesdays?
I had tacos this Tuesday.
Oh, that's based.
I love cannibalism.
Yeah, I had fajitas last night, so that was Wednesday night, so not quite
Fajitas are good.
Tuesday, but close enough, right?
Yeah.
And Cosmic Cowboy's last question is Bendy's original location to when? With a bunch of exclamation points.
So, for those unaware, Bendy Original Location was an old game I made. I think it was basically my first game, and it was a traced game. It was traced from Fights of Yoshi's, I think. It was like my first actual functional game that I released, and even though I'm not proud of the fact that it was traced and stuff, I'm still happy with the fact that that was my first game that was actually a game and worked, even if not that much, because it was pretty buggy. But I'm still happy because that was a stepping stone, obviously. So, you know, in some ways it was good, and like the concept eventually went over to a more original project. But Original Location 2, I'm making now, which is more of a joke game than anything. Which is it's gonna be funny, but I don't know when it'll come out. Sometime, maybe this year.
Right, and I remember talking to you about that through DMs and about you making that game, and I'll say the same thing I did there, is even though it might look bad or, you know, the graphics aren't great, you made a fully functioning game, and that's an accomplishment right there. So, and as you said, it's a stepping stone. So, you know, I think what matters to me is gameplay. Like, the game could have like bad graphics, but if it plays well and it's fun to play, that's what I care about. So
But the reason why I mean like the graphics are bad is more specific because it was traced artwork. If it wasn't, then I would have been, you know, it was older or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't base games off of graphics. I base them off of their actual quality, because I feel like too many people talk about the specs or how good the pixel art is rather than the story or the gameplay.
right, and here's a hot take. I think Joy of Creation is pretty generic if you look at it gameplay wise. It looks great. It's got fantastic graphics, but when you actually play the game, it's got pretty standard gameplay. It's nothing super groundbreaking.
Especially like what was the one where it's like you're in a house and like Freddy's there chasing you. I don't remember what version it was called.
I think that was Joy of Creation Reborn, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's just security breach, gameplay-wise, basically.
Pretty much.
Collect thing, run away from animatronic. Which I guess there isn't that much you could do for a 3D free-roaming survive game. Unless you want to actually turn it into FNAF.
Right. But, yeah, no hate on Joy of Creation, obviously. Yeah. It's a great game, but if you really want to get critical with it, you're going to say it's not really anything special when it comes to the gameplay department. But
yeah.
But anyway,
I feel like the remakes will be good, though. Like, even though the model that was shown for Freddy can't be used anymore because it was a minor who made it, I still have faith that the game will be really good.
Yeah, the Neta Collection, yeah. I'm gonna play it for sure when it comes out, and who knows, it might be pretty good. So
I'm also excited for like Evergreen and like Candies.
Candies 4, I'm looking forward to that, and Jolly 4 too. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Wish they kept the free roaming gameplay. I know it was like for lower end computers to have more fun playing the game, but it's like that was a really unique idea. I feel it was like security breach again.
Did they? They removed the free roaming from Jolly 4?
Yeah, no, it's point and click team now. Which I'm not saying that it will be a bad game. I still have faith that it'll be good. It's just I wish we could have seen that game completed because that would have been really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they removed that. That's kind of disappointing, but I'm sure it'll still be good. But yeah,
definitely.
So, all right, our next question is from SMG5 to Taco Games. Where did you get the idea of making MX, and what inspired his design?
I did not make MX. I have a bit of information about it, but I wasn't the one, contrary to popular opinions, I wasn't the one who made the game, or I guess I was kind of, but I wasn't the one who made the character of the world, but I was a coder, and I definitely put a pretty substantial part, even more so in like the newer versions of the game, because I'm basically the main coder now, which the original version was helped a lot by P and Cherries, one of my friends, even though I did like a lot for that one. It's just mostly me was done by this new version. Either way, for the MX, like he was made by Mario Bot, and basically, well, me and Cherries like found him, like a post he made about him a long time ago, on Twitter, and we thought it was really cool about like how like you're running away from Mario and stuff like that. So we wanted to turn it into a playable game, and eventually we asked Mario Bot if we could actually turn this into a game, and he said yeah, sure. And then that's kind of how the team and the game started. Uh, though stuff happened, a lot of drama and whatnot, but I still think the game's definitely going good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure people know, and that's why I said at the beginning, you are coding Mario 85. You're not the one who actually is like.
I would say that I am the lead developer generally. Like even Inferno, who is the new owner of MX Base, I think he said that I don't own the game per se, but I am like the lead developer.
Yeah, so you're a big part of it still, but
yeah.
So this next one is from Jake, but it's to me specifically, so I'll go ahead and go through it. He asked,
All right.
how long does it take for you to make these episodes, and was it hard hiring cast? So, in terms of GeniusCast itself, each episode usually takes around an hour or so to record. This depends on the amount of questions that I get. Now, with hiring cast, finding people can be difficult. That was a detriment to Season 3. That's why there weren't more episodes than there were. There were only 8. 7, technically, because the first episode was, I think a lot of people know who I did for that, and all that stuff happened regarding that person, and we're not going to go into that. But it just depends on if I can think of somebody, and then I talk to that person, and they're up to come on, and we got to figure out the time zones and when to do it and everything. So it can be a little difficult, but once I get the person on and just start recording, it usually doesn't take too long after that. But that's the hardest part, probably, is finding people. But so hope that answers your question, Jake. All right, our next one is from Clown Pal. Their questions are about Mario 85. What inspired you to make the game? Now, we've established that you didn't like originally, like, you're a developer, but you didn't like directly start making the game. But like, if you want to answer that in terms of what got you into it per se.
Technically, I was the one who made how it happened was like I was saying like before, like on Twitter, we found the post and we started making the game. But Mario Bot never turned it into a game, mostly because he didn't have any coding experience or whatever, and it was just like kind of concepts and pixel art and stuff. And then we kind of picked the project up and turned it into a thing. So it was mostly me, and then Cherries wanted to help after, like he wanted to come on board as well. That's not me discrediting his help, though. He definitely helped a lot. But that's kind of the origins of the project, and a lot has definitely changed, but that's basically how it happened.
Gotcha. So that's cleared up a little bit then. And then their next question is there anything that you would like to talk about or new things that we can see regarding Mario 85 without spoilers?
Well, a lot of people think that the game's gonna be like fully out in the next update or something, but that's not what's happening. It's gonna be like world by world. I've mentioned this a couple times, but I don't know if that's clear. It's gonna be like World 1, World 2, and such. It's a good even though Mario Bros. 1 is like in concept pretty short, I'm gonna try and make it the format as long as possible by adding extra levels or making the levels longer, have more content. It can't be like super long, like an hour, but I'll try my best to like turn the gameplay into a more longer experience.
Mm-hmm.
Some other things. Well, obviously we're doing World 1, but there'll definitely be like the gameplay won't just be platforming. It'll have a mix of platforming gameplay or new gameplay mechanics, which is kind of standard for EXE games nowadays. Kind of.
Right.
Yeah, it'll definitely be really cool, and I think even though World 1's probably going to be the most bland out of all of them, I think it'll be really fun when people pick up the game and play it, whenever that comes out.
Absolutely, and I'll be on that day one when that comes out. I'm pretty interested to see what y'all do with it, so definitely let me know when that is ready to dive on. So, all right, next question is from Black Ant to... I do not know how to pronounce your name. I am sorry. I've never understood it. Antonita, I think. What do you do during your free time? That is to you.
School, sleep, code, draw. That's it, really. I guess free time school doesn't really count, but a lot of people think that coding is more of a job, so you have to do, but to me, I find a lot of enjoyment in it, and I find it really fun to do it. I know that it's not like, especially if you're just doing it yourself, it's not like a treacherous job or anything, unless it's a project you're not happy with working with, but you still have to. I find a lot of enjoyment in it, and I've been trying to like get my coding skills and also my art skills a lot better, which I've been improving a lot, and I even want to try and learn to 3D model maybe.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna say in terms of you saying school isn't part of your things you do in your free time. That I was gonna say that's the same with me for work. If I were to say people ask me what I like to do in my free time, well, I work. I work 2 jobs and I work all the time, so that doesn't contribute to free time. But I don't really have a lot of free time.
I mean,
nowadays.
if you find enjoyment in it, I suppose you could consider it that if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not, but like, if it's fun to you, I don't really know where I'm getting at, but if you have a fun job, then you'll have fun. That came out stupid.
I know what you meant. I know what you were trying to say. But like, yeah, I don't have a lot of free time these days. I'm either working or with my fiance or working on videos. That's really all I do nowadays. I don't have a lot of time to go out and do other things. But yeah, hopefully I'm aiming to get a better job to where I'll have a little more free time. So fingers crossed on that. All right, our next question is from Arcade. Are you planning to make another Five Nights at Wario's game after Golden Lane? And also, I know after Wario's 3 too, since you're working on those both. Do you have any other ones?
So there is one that I'm working with more in secret. It's not like it's more in the back burner than anything, where I'm doing some things for it. But I think it'll be really interesting when I work on it fully, like when the other 2 are out or something. Something I will say is that it's Mandela Catalog related.
Ooh.
But it's still Wario's, which, combining 2 genres is always kind of fun.
Oh, absolutely. That's I know the Mandela Catalog. I watched Corey Kenshin react to some of that during his Spooky Scary Sundays.
Series.
So yeah, that's I'm familiar with what that is. So that'll be an interesting combination. I'm looking forward to that. And
also, like, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one more thing. There will maybe be other real FNAW games. Who knows?
Nice.
But that, I mean, like, Find Warriors 3 type deal.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right. Our last one on our community tab is from Cora Admire. Is Five Nights at Wario's The Golden Lane fully released and bug-free? I would assume the answer to that is no, but you can elaborate if you would like.
Well, I can't really make a bug-free game on release. I'll definitely try my best, but, even with a beta testing team, there's definitely going to be bugs that are going to be found, but I want to try and make it as bugless as physically possible, and then, like, iron out all the bugs in a big patch. Day 1 patch, real.
Right, and it's definitely not fully released, because what I played was the beta, and you're still working on the full version.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of paused at the moment, mostly just because I want to work on other things, but I'll start working on it again soon. Just, it's not that much that needs to be done, but it's a lot of it's a big part of the game. Right. Even if, like, they're not, like, a lot to do. I don't know how to explain it properly, but it's certain sections that will just take a bit more time.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that does it with our community tab questions. We're moving on to Twitter. We only have a few over here on Twitter. So, again, if y'all want to ask questions, Twitter is a good place to ask. You can follow me and link in the description and keep an eye out for these tweets about upcoming guests. So, we'll ask the ones here. Our first one is from Traduder172. I want to ask if Lucas stands any chance against MX.
Maybe. I mean, Lucas, his life basically depends on your skill, really, because even if, story-wise, the player doesn't exist and it's just Lucas, he can definitely get away from MX. I wouldn't say he can defeat him. I don't want to say much more than that because, like, game spoilers and stuff, but, like, it's definitely possible for him to outrun MX. but I wouldn't say he can just like outright kill him or something, because you know he's a kid playing Luigi.
All right, our next one is from TJ Ghostly. I want to ask, what is your favorite Five Nights at Wario's game, and do you have any updates for Golden Lane?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite FNAW game, it's either Shows or Origins. Origins because like I just really love how creative it is, and like a lot of games in the FNAF or the FNAF community then and still now are just still keeping on the same structure of FNAF. But I love how FNAF is like really innovative with its gameplay and stuff, and you know it's point and click and stuff. And it's really cool. And then Shows just because, well, it's the most refined game. It has a lot of gameplay, even if maybe it's a bit overstuffed. But it's just a generally really good game. Quality-wise, it's probably the best FNAF game. And the graphics even look like way better than they usually do.
Yeah, agreed on all that. I would say, because Shows and Origins are two great ones. I would say 3 is probably my favorite one.
3 is also really good.
Yeah, 3 and 4 are probably my top 2. Yeah, Shows and Origins are right behind that. Like, you know, all 4 of those games are fantastic. But I still got to go in there and finish Director's Cut. That's been over a year since I've done that. And
I finished Director's Cut a while ago, and I gotta say, that was a really fulfilling experience.
Yeah, I've heard it's great. And, you know, there are a lot of people that have asked, like, when are you going to finish Director's Cut? And it's like, the thing about me is, and I don't know how many people know this, but I do have ADHD. I was never diagnosed, but it's something that I kind of just live with. And something that comes from that is distraction. It's like I get distracted very easily, and that's what leads to a lot of the variety on this channel. It's kind of a blessing and a curse, because for one, it helps me play a whole bunch of different things, and I get distracted and go on to other games, so it ends up being just so many different types of things. But the curse is that I can't focus on a particular game a lot of the time unless I go like I did with Resident Evil Village and just play that game every night as a stream, you know, for an entire week. It's difficult for me to do that. I can't really focus on one particular thing, so that's kind of what contributes to my lack of staying on one game until it's finished. That's why I'm kind of all over the place, and that's why I only did one part of the Director's Cut of Shows and then never did it again, because I planned on doing it again a couple days later, and then I got distracted with another game, and then just rinse and repeat, and here we are over a year later. So for those wondering, if I can get myself to focus on it, then yes, I will get back to it. But just bear with me in that regard. That's all I'm saying.
Especially like considering how like especially FNAF games, like once you finish the main campaign, it's just completion. And that can get a bit tiring with achievements and max modes and stuff, because there's nothing new. It's more just the same, but harder.
Yeah, and that's I would definitely say Shows is definitely super creative with the gameplay it offers. It gives you something different, along with the familiar, and I think it's a good combination. So
definitely,
I will definitely get back to it if I can focus on it for sure. Next one is from Goosebump Sky 299. My question is, what are some games that have been announced this year that you are excited for? And he's saying that both of us can answer this, so you go first.
Well, one, definitely Tears of the Kingdom, if it does come out this year, which it should. Oh, wait, do they mean like games coming out this year or games announced this year?
Well, he said announced this year, but I guess maybe that can...
There isn't that many games that have been announced this year, so I'll just take it as games coming out or announced this year.
Yeah.
So definitely Tears of the Kingdom is one, and like, I'm not into many big games. Like one like I want to get into is like Resident Evil or something, because like those games seem really good. Or like, let me see. I can't really think. Fan game wise, I guess. I'm definitely really excited for the Abandoned Factory Nevermore.
Oh, that's a good one.
If it does come out this year.
Yeah.
I've beta tested it, and it's really good. My brain's kind of at a blank right now. I can't really think of what games. I guess Tears of the Kingdom is the one I'm most excited for, just because I really loved Breath of the Wild, and I got the DLC for Breath of the Wild recently, and that was really fun.
Oh, yeah, 100% agreed on Tears of the Kingdom. I have gushed about that already in this theory episode, and I'm going to gush about it again. But that, for sure, the Resident Evil 4 remake, I'm very excited for. That's in less than or just about in 2 months. On January 23rd, that'll be in 2 months. That shows how excited I am for it. I'm counting down the days. But, and I'm particularly excited for it because Capcom has confirmed that they're not cutting content, and I think that they, for one, like learned from the backlash that the RE3 remake got, and I wouldn't say it's entirely Capcom's fault that the RE3 remake didn't stick the landing because they weren't behind it. I think another company was doing it, and they reused the assets from the RE2 remake and cut out a lot of content because they were on a time crunch because they had to get it out within a year to capitalize on the RE2 remakes. Fame,
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't like one of the Resident Evil games like completely changed to be co-op, or was it a different like survival horror game?
That was RE5 is co-op.
Right.
RE6 is as well, but RE6 is RE6.
Because I know like one of those games or something were completely like changed gameplay wise and story wise to do with co-op because co-op was such a big thing at that time, so they wanted to put it in the game's titles and stuff.
Yeah.
Which detrimented the gameplay and the game in general.
Well, that might have been RE6 because RE5 is actually pretty decent. I played it with Spencer, and that's the co-op one. Now, RE6 does have co-op, but again, as I've said, that's RE6, so we don't talk about that. But RE5 is definitely competent. It's the highest selling Resident Evil game of all time, and I think they kind of cheesed that because a lot of people had to buy multiple copies to play co-op, and you can play single player, and your teammate is a computer CPU, but it's not as fun when it's like that. It's better when it's an actual person playing with you. But that's the co-op one for sure. I don't know if they'll ever remake RE5, but the reason why I'm most excited for the RE4 remake is considering how faithful it looks to the original while also adding in new stuff, and they're not cutting any content. So, and Capcom confirmed they're not cutting any content. So I'm very, very excited for that. And if Abandoned Factory Zero and Evermore does come out this year, I'm definitely excited for that too. Because what I played of it in the demo, I very much enjoyed. It's great. So we'll have to see what comes out. And Spider-Man 2 as well. I'm not going to be able to play that because that's going to be on PS5. But I'm excited to see other people play it.
Oh yeah, I know this isn't a game, but like Across the Spider-Verse is coming out this year, right?
That's right. Yeah, and then we got Marvel stuff too. We got Ant-Man 3. We got Guardians Volume 3, Loki Season 2. We've got a lot of good stuff coming. So,
but I would be lying if I didn't think that Marvel has been going down the gutter a bit. Maybe not like fully, like it's horrible, but I feel like certain choices with some of the movies were not the best.
Yeah, I could go into a whole 2-hour rant about that, but like Phase 4 did not really stick the landing very well.
Definitely.
There were a few pretty good ones.
It had too many like it's too many spin-offs, you know. It's not anything main. It's just a TV show about this random character from the comics or a movie or a sequel or something. It's like there isn't any like main things or recognizable characters in Phase 4, and that's not a bad thing per se, but it's like it's more like filler content than it is major big story stuff. And I'm not saying that this stuff doesn't serve any purpose to the story of Marvel. They obviously will appear in a different movie or whatever, but it's like I feel like they should. I know that like Secret Wars or whatever is coming up, and Ant-Man Quantumania is going to be pretty main story based with Secret War. Where's the Secret Wars? I think it was.
Well, there's going to be Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars.
Yeah, it was King Dynasty, right? Yeah, but both of those movies are definitely going to be like pretty important. But besides that, most of them are just kind of Disney Plus spin-offs or sequels to other movies. Right,
and that's what I was going to add to that is Phase 4 lacks a lot of focus. Because I know that Phases 1, 2, and 3, like Phase 1 was kind of setting up like the main heroes, and then Phase 2, like, because after Phase 1 ends with Avengers, then you've got more setting up. They start introducing the Infinity Stones, and then Phase 3 leads up to the Infinity War with Thanos. And then after that, like, Thanos is defeated in Endgame, and then there's not really much happening in Phase 4. There's a lot of random things going on. They set up Kang in Loki, but that's pretty much it besides that. Then they have some multiverse stuff going on in Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home, which are both good movies. No Way Home is fantastic. I love that movie.
No Way Home is really good.
Yeah, and
Multiverse of Madness is kind of chaotic, I'd find.
yeah,
It's not horrible, but it's like it kind of lacks focus again.
So I think Kevin Feige has confirmed that they're going to be stepping back and focusing on quality over quantity for Phase 5. If so, yes, please. And we'll see how Ant-Man 3 does. And they're saying that Ant-Man 3 is going to kind of set up and define the MCU going forward. So we'll have to see what happens. And Kang looks awesome in that movie. So
yeah,
we will have to see. All right, and our last one on Twitter is from Goliath178. What got you into making fan games, and do you have any advice for people who would want to make their own fan games?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm the best person to give that kind of advice, but I'll try. How I got into making fan games was just because I really loved FNAF fan games and FNAF in general, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I really want to make a game like this. And it was like, I had made small attempts on like stuff like Scratch without the proper understanding on how Scratch even worked, before eventually finding some tutorials on ClickTeam and stuff, where I started to slowly learn it, even if it was pretty archaic. I started to learn how it worked and like how certain things were done, and I watched tutorials that eventually became kind of my part of my programming like style, and edited to be more proficient. And it's funny, I didn't like take any tutorials on specifically how ClickTeam worked. It was just FNAF tutorials, so I feel like maybe that was kind of stupid, but I still learned either way, and maybe it was good to just struggle so I could learn myself instead of just getting a tutorial on how everything works. And for advice, I'd say start small. Don't try anything ambitious and big. Just, do a simple project. I'd say maybe a point-and-click game or a platformer would be serviceable. And don't, try to, your first game won't be amazing, obviously. So don't, feel bad that it's like, oh, this game isn't as good as my other games. This is just general advice. But, everyone's at their own level, and you'll get better eventually and stuff,
All right, well, that'll do it for our Twitter questions. And so we're going to move on to our final set of questions in my Discord server. Again, be sure to go and join that if you guys want to come and have fun in my server. We got events going on over there, voice chats. And if you want to ask questions for future episodes, I've got a GeniusCast questions channel in there. So our first one is from Lone Star Games. What made you want to make Five Nights at Wario's The Golden Lane?
The Golden Lane, I'm trying to remember, actually, looking back a year or two ago. I believe the Golden Lane, obviously came from me liking Wizard of Oz and making some images of, a field or something. Yeah, I think the origins was that, I got some, images of, The Return to Oz, which is, a sequel to the movie. And basically, it was just some field, and I tried to make Waluigi as a wheeler in it, and there would be, a group of them or something, starting with just regular FNAF gameplay. And it kind of just evolved from there, where it was, I started making a poster that was definitely not as close to how the game actually turned out to be. It was definitely more based on the actual story of Wizard of Oz than how it is now, which I'm definitely going to revamp the story a bit, because right now it's a bit weak, where it's just Wario and friends go to castle, and then ouch, they get hurt and eviled. That's kind of how it started, and I got some help from some people. Some people left. And right now the game's just kind of in a stalemate stage until I feel motivated enough to work on it.
Gotcha. All right, our next question is from Random. What kept you going despite all the setbacks that occurred during the early development period of Mario 85?
Well, Mario 85, I gotta admit, like, it wasn't smooth sailing or anything. If it wasn't, the game probably would have been at World 2 by now and probably would have been out, like, a couple months ago, frankly. We were having plans to, like, release World 1 in October of last year, which could have definitely happened, but there was a lot of setbacks with drama that I probably won't mention because, drama, and a lot of it hasn't really been resolved fully, or some of it anyways. Either way. Uh, so some people left the team, which set us back a lot. But uh, like Maribot in more particular, it's not like he like completely it ruined the game without him. But it was like, the main guy is gone now, so it's like we have to kind of just think for ourselves and how the game will go out. Anyways, I'm trying to think for a second. What kept me going was just kind of I really wanted to see this complete, even though a lot of the times being in the 85 team, I gotta admit, was a bit just it wasn't fun. A lot of moments were just not nice there, but generally, I just had this motivation to work on it because it was just really cool, and I like working on EXE/ creepypasta games because it's just really cool to recreate an old game in this cool new NES Godzilla type deal style, where it's like an upgraded version of the game in some extent. So it was just really fun and motivating to me, even if there was hardships and pushbacks. So I'm hoping that World 1 will release this year, but that's not a promise. That's an estimation from the progress that's been happening.
Gotcha. All right, our next one is from Kirby Genius. He's nicknamed Bud's Son in my Discord server. What got you into Five Nights at Wario's? Were you a fan of it in its early days or when the updates came out?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I was way younger by the time I was even knew about FNAW, I think. So I don't really remember the exact origins of it, but I do know that I believe it kind of stemmed from me from Jeb Yoshi and FNAW and him making Return to the Factory and Fight to Yoshi's, and eventually leading me to the Fight to Wario server, where basically I just started getting into the games. I don't remember exactly. It was definitely around the 2.0s, I think. I didn't know about the games at the time, like, even before that, but it wasn't something that I was, like, into per se. I just didn't know much about it. But then I got really into the series and the lore and completed basically every game, made fan games and stuff. So that's kind of where I started. I don't remember in exact detail, though. If you don't mind me asking, where did you find FNAF, bud?
Well, I remember first playing it, like, soon after the first one came out back in 2015. I think I played it.
Right.
It was like, I played it back in January of 2015 with the first one, and then knew very quickly about the second one. I remember when the demo came out, I was
and you like rushed to like
yes,
recording calls or whatever to I saw the Jeb Yoshi video with it.
Yes, I did that. I remember I was eating like I think it was like, I don't know if you've heard
Cereal
of Raising Cane's.
something.
No, it was Raising Cane's. You ever heard of Raising Cane's?
No.
It's a fried chicken.
Is it an American thing or something?
Yes, it is a
okay.
southern fried chicken joint that I used to eat a lot of when I was younger, but I don't eat a lot of fried stuff anymore. But back then I did. But I was in the middle of eating that, and then I saw the demo was out, and like I just rushed to my room. Like I just like stuffed the rest of my food down, and I wish I hadn't, because I mean, if you're gonna eat Raising Cane's, for those who have had it, you want to savor it. It's not something you want to shovel down. But yeah, and I just followed every game from 3 to 4 or 3 to Origins to 4. And I remember when Shows was first announced, it was pretty cool. But I definitely was definitely there for the 2.0s. But I don't remember how I found it. I think it was from watching Markiplier play it, I think.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been following the games ever since they started coming out. Which is like, that's been 8 years ago, dude. January of 2015 was 8 years
insane.
ago. I know. Like, I feel so old. I was like 15 or 16 or something back then. I was 6. Was I 16? Yeah, I think I was 16. Pretty sure.
For me, I was probably like, let me think here, 7 at the time, I think.
Yeah, because I think you said you were what, 14? You're
Yeah,
14
14.
now?
I was born in
Yeah,
2008.
so you would have been like 7,
Yeah,
and I would have been 16. That's crazy.
yeah. So I wasn't really much of a conscious being back then that really knew about. I mean, I was starting to get into FNAF just because I really enjoyed the concept of it. Or maybe because I have a really dark personality. I don't know.
Yeah,
um,
I remember being legitimately scared of the first game. Like
yeah,
when Peach showed up, that was like back then I wasn't super like hard skinned against horror. Like these days, like I'll play a lot of scary games and I'll
yeah.
want to be scared by them. But back then, I
You
wasn't
were
into
more.
horror. And
Yeah,
so
it was like you weren't desensitized yet.
when Peach showed up, like when she did on night 3, like if anybody has seen that original video, you will my reaction is pretty amazing. Like
Um,
I was legitimately scared, like terrified of that.
Something I want to say about like FNAW. This isn't really related to the question, but a lot of people give too slack for being like, "Oh, it's not that good," but and saying it's the worst game. But personally, I find FNAW 1 the worst one, not because it's bad, but because it's basic, and it's like, sure, 2 isn't the most interesting, but it has a very cool gimmick, even if it wasn't very thought through. Like, it definitely could have been improved. Like as an example, Return to the Factory, Wario Intrusion improved it a lot,
Hmm.
but like it was still a really solid one, and I think it's still like number the second worst.
That was
Uh,
exactly how I ranked it when I did my Wario's ranked videos. I put
you should
the
do like
first
an
one.
updated version or something.
I should and include 5 stars
Fan
of
games or
Wario's.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or do a top 5 Wario's fan games. That
That would be
would be
cool.
interesting. But yeah, I ranked the first one at the bottom for the same reason. I think it was just because it was very basic and it gets a pass just because it was one of the very first fan games. So obviously back then nobody had done anything original, like because it was I
Yeah.
think there was like
The most original one at the time was maybe like not Chuck E. Cheese. What was it called? Treasure Island, I think.
yeah, that was I think that Finance Treasure Island is was it the first one? I can't remember. I think people have said that there was one fan game before that was like Free Roam, but I don't know for sure. I just know that FNAF fan games as we know them now, the first one of those was Treasure Island. But yeah, I think 2 is underrated personally. I like 2 a lot, and I think it's fast paced, which I like a lot, and so I mean I did put it at second worst as well, but I think it's very underrated. I like 2 probably a lot more than other people do. So, all right, our next one is from Green. Does Bruno Mars is gay? Do you know that reference at all?
No.
So, I know the reference. It's I don't know if you've ever heard of Game Grumps, but
Yeah.
they were playing Zelda Ocarina of Time and some random episode, and they started talking about this news article they came across about Bruno Mars. And for those who don't know, Bruno Mars is a music artist, and the article was like broken English, like bad, and just the headline was the truth come out. Does Bruno Mars is gay? And it's just like the entire article is just, I don't even know if it's still up to read. I think the Game Grumps like read through it in that episode, but it's just broken English all the way
I
through.
love broken English.
It's
Like
hilarious.
They're trying to be serious, but it's just horrible.
It is so. I mean, I will link you that episode or that segment.
Definitely.
It's so funny. But that's what that's referencing. And so for people who know the reference, it's funny. But like if you go and like watch the video it's from, oh, it's great. So
Well then, my response is, I don't know. Is Bruno Mars the gay?
I don't know if we'll ever know, man. That's the question biggest life.
Yeah. I don't even can't under.
Yeah, fathom can't I. All right, our next one is from Robster. What inspired you to create fan games? I think you kind of answered that a little bit earlier, but if you want to kind of reiterate.
Well, I think my first one was some other bendy one, but what inspired me to make them was like, FNAF was really cool, and I was really persistent with making character designs. I don't think I have like images of them because they're probably long gone in some other Scratch account or something. But I remember one specifically was like this cat, and he was like green, I think, and his name was, let me think, it was Jerry. It was Jerry the cat, and it was like this FNAF fan game that I wanted to do, but I really lacked the proper experience to do it. So over time, I was very persistent with it and just found Click Team eventually and tried it out. That's what I've been using ever since. I do want to eventually try, not Move exactly to, but like try other engines like Game Maker or Unity or even Unreal maybe. Just to know, because Click Team isn't necessarily writing coding, it's not the same. So I'd love to actually learn proper C++ or Python or, just other computer languages.
Right. Gotcha. Our next one is from Mr. Waffles. Sort of a similar question. What was it that inspired you to make your own spin-off of the Wario's games? Did you find them to be a hidden gem among the many other FNAF fan games?
Yeah. What inspired me to make them was just because, like, FNAW was just a really cool idea to me. And even though maybe it's lost a bit of its... No, actually, it hasn't. Never mind. But, like, just... I can't really explain it in words. It's just... I really love the innovative and cool gameplay that FNAW introduced, and I wanted to do something with it. Like, as an example, Dark Knights, which is an interesting game that was really ambitious, and I never finished. Because, it was just too much, and there was not a lot of quality put into it, and it wasn't really going anywhere. But, I kind of just went over time, and Golden Lane's probably my proudest project, aside from FNAF 3, because it can never compete with that game, obviously.
You're making me really interested in FNAF 3. I want to see how that is when it's done.
It's not just going to be FNAF 3 gameplay. Like, it's going to have new stuff in it.
That's what intrigues me. That's what intrigues me.
Just as an example, the reboot monitor, you have to type now.
Oh, innovative, interactive.
Yeah. Which probably makes it harder, but it'll be cool to have certain sequences. There'll also just be new gameplay mechanics, new characters. There won't just be the titular Bruno Locktrap that's just the single character that can kill you. There'll be, like, a couple others. But for the most part, it's just the Phantoms besides a couple others. But won't just jump scare you and be done with it. They'll actually have different gameplay, which will be fun.
Awesome. I am looking forward to that for sure.
Hoblart is the best main character.
Oh, absolutely. Can't beat him.
It canonically takes place in the timeline of Mall Cop.
Perfect. That makes it even better.
Yeah.
All right, our next one is from Genius Night Creator, aka Damien. What do you think is the most fun part of game development?
I'm gonna sound like Jeb Yoshi here, but like just seeing the images like work in the game and seeing like the AIs function, like how you want them, especially the more advanced ones with like the cool gimmicks. Not just like ones that would go to the door and close it. It's like, really cool ideas. It's really nice and motivating to just see them work. I've been trying to make games, but I haven't even released any games, like, per se. Like, there's a couple that I've enlisted sometimes that I'm not that proud of anymore, but, like, for the most part, my main projects haven't come out besides, like, betas or demos.
What was that?
There's something else I was gonna say, but I completely forgot the question. Could you remind me what the question was again?
Just asking what's your favorite part of game development?
Right. Like just seeing everything work together and like making all the place and seeing a finished product is just so fun. And I really want to just go to a project and make one that's just bing bang done. Because I know a lot of people finish games really fast, but I honestly get demotivated and then start working on another thing again and just repeats and repeats. So I just need to focus on one and not go over ambitious. That's why Golden Lane, even though it's way shorter than most games, it's still kind of like Golden Lane. The main mode is completely done basically. It's just other stuff, but it's like I want to just make a game, make the main gameplay, and basically be done with it after that. Just release the game.
I gotcha. All right, our next one is from Nami1. Do you plan on helping people when it comes to making a FNAF fan game, such as Jeb Yoshi or WW Wario?
I feel like it's the other way around. Do they want me to help them? Because I'm friends with Jeb. It's not like I know him. We've talked a couple times and stuff, but it's like I'm not that talented myself. I've done cool things, sure, but it's like there's so many more talented people that deserve way more fame than I do. Only reason why I have so many followers and stuff is just because of Golden Lane, or not Golden Lane, Mario 85, and I do appreciate that. That's not like I don't, I really do. But like, you know, so other people, like as an example, like Jeb, deserve it way more because of their creativity and innovation and stuff. So I really would like to work on like some of their projects in the future. That'd be really fun. Like Cow Game. Cow Game.
Yes.
If there's ever a sequel to it, which would be funny.
I don't think there needs to be another sequel.
In the far, far future of 2050.
Yeah, Cow Game 3 comes out in 2050. Hopefully I will be, I don't know, I'll be an old man by then, so, well, I mean, no, I'd be 2050, that's like, I'd be, what, 50? Something like that? No, like 52.
Ironic.
Yeah.
So wait, were you born in 2000?
No, I was born in 1998, so I would be 52.
Oh. Wait, why did I say 2000?
Because I said 50 as an estimate,
right.
so you would, because that would make sense to think I was born in 2000, but no, I'm a very late 90s kid, so, but I obviously, I was like 2 when 2000 hit, so I didn't get to experience the 90s, because I was a toddler, so.
I would like to experience some of the 90s. I'm not saying that I'm like the one that kids like, I was born in the wrong generation, because that's kind of stupid, but like, I would have liked to see the archaic, really cool but shitty technology at work being used. Because I just think that's really cool, seeing archaic technology being made.
Yeah, you could technically say that about the early 2000s, because things I do remember, particularly my parents had Nokia phones. Like, those were the those were the biggest, like, those were the newest, or at least the most durable cell phones. My mom had the original iPhone, the 3G, and she probably still has it somewhere. She also has the original iPod, because I don't know, we've thought about maybe selling that at some point to like a collector. You know, people who collect those things for a lot of money. We don't know if we're gonna do that yet or not. My dad had the original Game Boy, the black and white Game Boy, which I actually have. He gave that to me, and I'm considering whether or not I want to sell it or just hang on to it, because it's a collector's item now. But the biggest thing I remember from the 2000s was Blockbuster, and I don't know if anybody.
I know what Blockbuster is, but I never experienced it myself.
I was young enough then to, or I'm old enough to remember Blockbusters before Netflix and Hulu and all these streaming services.
I went to similar, video renting services, but not like Blockbuster specifically. Anyways, continue, sorry.
Blockbuster was like the place to go if you wanted to rent a movie. And I remember you'd go out there. There was one like 5 minutes from where I lived when I was a kid, and like we'd go out there and rent movies, and like it's crazy in thinking back now we've got Netflix and all these streaming services where you just watch movies on demand. You don't have to go out and rent movies anymore. You know, this generation's got it good, man. Like, we've got good technology. So I'm interested to see what they do with technology in the next 20 years. I mean, like, you've got,
because it's not necessity stuff anymore. It's more new, innovative things than quality of life type deal stuff, because they've done that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to see what they do.
But one more thing I want to say, like, just a random kind of connected thing, like kids in my school today, they were like a year or so younger than me. They were in a lower grade than me. They were saying, like, when the kids had an iPod or something, or no, an MP3 player, I don't know why, but they did, and like they said to their friends they have one, and then they were like, what's an MP3 player? And it's kind of saddening to see that they're that, like, not uncultured, but like they don't know about it, and they're like literally only like a year or two younger than me. Kind of shows how much that technology is already being forgotten.
Yeah,
I've never used them that much.
I don't see anybody talking about DSs anymore, man. Like,
DSs are the shit.
I know. Like, that was one of my first game consoles, the handheld, the DS Lite. I played New Super Mario Bros. DS on that thing, and
same.
I don't see a lot of people talking about those anymore.
I used like the 2DS. Like, I had like a translucent blue one, and I like played like Mario Bros. On it and stuff like that. New Super Mario Bros. Or Pokemon Ultra Sapphire, I think it was Omega. Yeah, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire on it and stuff, and that was my childhood.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. All right, our next one is from Tronic. Now, I'm not sure what he's trying to ask here. He says, what inspired you to create your career as a insert career name? So I don't know what he means by that. I think maybe it's
I think
another...
he means like my name.
Maybe?
Unless inspired you to create your
Tronic, you can comment below if we are not interpreting this right, and we can and you can answer it in the comments if you need to.
Inspired you to create your... I don't exactly know. I think they're asking like to choose to be a game developer.
Probably, yeah.
Because I'm not exactly sure what they mean, but just assuming that's what they mean. Just what I've mentioned before, how I just really wanted to make games because that was such a passion of mine, and I really want that to be my career in the future. That's all I can really say because I've gone more depth with it before.
Right.
Twice.
Right. All right, next one is from Welly Dog. How does it feel to get as far as you have gone? I know he says get this far, but I'm kind of paraphrasing.
It's kind of an honor. I'm not saying like I'm the most popularist person in the world. There's definitely way more popular people than me, but the fact that I've been put into a way higher spotlight than I was before with only a couple hundred followers, it is an honor, even if most of us just because of a popular creepypasta game. It's still really, a nice experience, even if some of it's a bit annoying, like with, little kids asking stupid questions. I guess that's kind of how you have to deal with when, you're a part of something bigger than that.
Yeah, you're always going to get that for sure.
Yeah. So, like, that's just kind of one of the things about it that you just kind of have to deal with. But I really enjoy it, and even if some of it's a bit annoying, I still really love the community and stuff.
Yeah, that's the same with me too. Every community is going to have its more annoying side, but I appreciate the people in this community, in my community specifically, every day. I really appreciate y'all a lot, and it's crazy to see how things have evolved over the past few years, and seeing people talk about like how much I've improved my content. Like we were talking about that in the Discord event last night. People were talking about like how much different I am now, like and how I've improved my content and all that, and I like where I am, and I like that people are still watching. People have stuck with me and are still watching what I upload, and it's really good. It's really good to see, and it's an honor that people still find my content entertaining, and I'm not gonna stop. So I know. Next one is from Weed Chips. Will you ever finish Night 6, troll?
Yeah, I will eventually. It's just a really toiling experience, I definitely will finish day or night 6, whatever.
He's talking about Golden Lane, for those wondering.
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm gonna call it night 6 or day 6, because setting-wise, it's more nighttime than it is a day. But yeah, I will finish eventually, as well as all the other content.
Gotcha. All right, next one is from JWLO412 Gamer. What's been the worst pain you have ever felt physically?
Okay. So, I haven't really went to the I have went to the hospital, but I've never had a surgery or anything because I've been pretty safe as a kid, not done anything stupid and reckless. So I've never been in a situation where it's actually something bad. But I did, pain-wise, have a really bad, or at least a pretty bad disease. I don't know if it's a disease or I guess it's a virus called pneumonia, which can kill you.
Yeah, that's bad.
I had it when I was way younger, and it was a pretty horrible time. I dealt with it pretty well, banana medicine and all. And honestly, I didn't feel as bad as I thought. Looking back at it, I feel like I should have felt way more pain considering what a bad disease it was, or virus, whatever it was, but it wasn't that horrible actually. But in recent times, I've had a it was just some kind of stomach bug or something. It was like just the flu or something, I think. I'm not sure. That had been passing through my family, and I got it once, and I was kind of feeling a bit down. And I was gone for school for a couple of days, and I was feeling a bit but it wasn't horrible. and then it went to other people in the family, and they stayed home, and so on. And then it came back to me for a second time, and that was horrible. Like, the second time it came around was just really bad. Horrible neck pain, headache all the time. Felt like I was gonna throw up all the time. Very shivery. Um, I hated light. It hurt my eyes so much. It was really bad. And when I started to feel better, it was amazing. So yeah, it's probably because it was the reason why I was probably so bad was actually probably because I hadn't been sick for a very long time. Because unlike most people, I've actually been wearing a mask, even if people think that COVID is gone. It's still pretty good to have a mask, even COVID's still very much a thing and becoming a lot of prevalent again, even if people don't talk about it. So it just kind of hit me because I hadn't been sick in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And as for worst pain that I have ever felt, I would say this goes for all guys. Getting kicked in the balls is probably the worst pain that we could feel in terms of. I mean, probably getting our legs or arms or anything chopped off. That probably amputation or anything like that. Getting stabbed or something like that. But getting kicked in the balls, I think, is and that's happened before. There was one night. I remember I was in Boy Scouts back before I got my Eagle rank, and we were playing. Me and some guys were playing with a tennis ball outside, and we were just bouncing it back and forth to each other. And one of the guys threw the ball down on the floor to bounce it to me, and he aimed too low, and instead of bouncing up to me, it bounced up into the balls. And
Yikes.
I was on the ground, doubled over in the fetal position. Like, for the guys watching this who have never been kicked in the balls, I implore you to avoid any situation that would
where you get kicked in the balls.
It is the worst pain. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I really wouldn't.
People say that it's as painful as like going through birth. I'm not sure.
I think that's
I've never had a baby, so I can't say myself.
I've heard from a lot of women that that's not true.
Because it's just one moment, but pregnancy and like birth, it's like a whole big thing. I feel like it definitely hurts a lot, but I don't think it's at the same volume, or even if it is the same pain, it's just for not as long as a time. It's for a pretty short time.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, there's one other experience that I've had recently. Just want to mention. I wanted to bring my dog for a walk, and my dog is really big, and I'm not as strong, obviously. So usually just my mom does it, but I wanted to do it, so she came with me because, well, my dog's really strong. So I was holding her, and I did pretty good for most of it. Until the end, where I was basically my entire arm was wrapped around the leash just so I could firmly hold her in case she tried to do anything, so she wouldn't just run off. She saw something, I don't know what it was, but she just started running into a driveway, and I was stuck to her. So I just started flying into the driveway and fell into the pavement. Luckily, it didn't hit my head. Like, if I hit my head there, it wouldn't have been good. I wouldn't say I would have died, but something bad would have happened. So I was just there in pain with a ton of scars and bruises on me. And my dog did not have a care in the world. So that was pretty painful, I'd say. It wasn't as horrible as a lot of things. It wasn't as horrible. It wasn't that bad, but it definitely did hurt in the moment a lot.
Well, glad you turned out okay from that. Sounded like it could have been very bad.
It could have, definitely. I have a luck with that kind of stuff.
All right, our next one is from Kong. What inspired you to make a Financial Oreos version of FNAF 3?
So, FNAF 3 just kind of came from this idea where it's, I don't exactly know where the idea actually came from, but I believe it was like, I wanted to like remake the original FNAF games, kind of. So I was like, what if I just made this joke game with FNAF 3 for fun ease, and like using Bruno Locktrap since he was a funny character. But I wanted to actually like put effort into it, unlike some joke games. Like, I know some joke games in the community are like actually really good, but I mean like graphics wise, they're not like a complete joke. Like, it actually looks like it's being serious, and even though the story and the idea of it's pretty stupid. but I tried to make all the edits look good and stuff, and the gameplay. So I just really wanted to kind of tweak the gameplay a bit, even if it wasn't an improvement per se. Just make it different, just to have a fun time, I guess, with a stupid story, but with a semi also serious story at the same time. Sometimes.
Yeah, I got you. All right. This next one's from Justin Sharko. How do you feel about Golden Lane?
Well, I really like the game. I don't know what else to really say. It's like, it's one of my most favorite games I've made. Even if it's not finished yet, and it'll definitely go through a lot of changes. I'm really proud of it, especially because of how much traction it's gotten. And I really like where the ideas were going. I might change some mechanics and stuff, because more specifically Waluigi, I want to make them even worse. With not just going one way, like in the down section of the map. I want to make them basically go everywhere, but I just didn't really know how to code it. But I definitely want to change it. But yeah, I really am proud of the game. And whenever I feel like working on it again, I'll definitely have fun with it, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, our next one is from Chibi, the Mario Gamer. How's the development of Mario 85 been going for you and the rest of the team so far?
Well, as of recently, we've actually been making a lot of progress on World 1. And we've had a lot of ideas for, like, the ending of the game and story and other ideas. And we've been just, like, thinking and stuff. That we've done a lot of concepts, sprite art. We have the help from Marco Antonio, which, I don't know if you know what that is, but, do you know Mario's Madness?
I don't think I do.
It's well, he's a really talented, developer. He made a Welcome to Freddy's, or I don't know if that's what it's called. I think it's Welcome to Freddy's, but it's another FNAF fan game. Yeah, you'll probably know this one, FNAF 6 Freak Show.
I actually don't think I've heard of that one either.
Damn. Either way, he's a really talented developer. He's a modeler. He's a FNF modder. He's a artist and sprite artist. And we got him on the team because he makes really, really cool sprite art. Yeah, either way, we've been making a lot of progress. Like, in the past week or two, I haven't been working on it that much. I've just been kind of taking it slow, working on other projects. Just because I didn't want to burn myself out. But basically, yeah, it's been going really well for the game. And even though one world doesn't seem like a lot, recreating Super Mario Bros. 1 is definitely kind of difficult. So that's probably the hardest part of making the game.
Well, hey,
especially
look.
Those damn question mark blocks.
Oh yeah, but hey, progress is progress, man. So
yeah.
All right, next one is another one from Lone Star Games. If you were in an alternate universe, what would you do and why?
That's vague. Let me think.
I guess you could really do anything you wanted. Depends, because it's an alternate universe.
I don't want to just mess up the world just because it's not my own home. I don't know. Maybe kill this. I don't know, because like I don't know what they mean by alternate. Do they mean like a parallel one or like a completely different world to our own?
Yeah, like I guess parallel universe. I guess is what he means.
If he means parallel, then I guess I would try and just do as much good as I physically can. Like trying to alter the world, see if it goes well, and then if it doesn't, just not do it in that way for our world. That'd be kind of cool. It's like using a time reversal almost, where you can have one trying something and see if it goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd also like become a serial killer, maybe. I don't know.
That's specific.
Maybe not actually. I don't know if maybe I feel like I'm too I feel like I'm too much of a nice person to even consider murdering.
FBI, keep an eye on this man. So, yeah, I don't know what I would do in an alternate universe. My fiance and I have talked extensively about like multiverse stuff because it's an interesting concept to think about, and I subscribe to the belief that and yeah, you can call it lunacy or whatever. I mean, people think I'm crazy for thinking this, but it's just, it's fun to think about. I think that our dreams are a brief look into parallel realities. And I know that the realistic answer is that it's your brain just remembering things like your brain is showing you pictures of what your mind is thinking, and the reason why you're seeing it so clearly is because you're asleep, but you're seeing what your brain is coming up with. And so your brain is remembering certain things that happened, but it's not presenting it in the exact way that it did happen. So you can be in like a certain place, or like a certain, like they'll be in somebody's house, but it'll be slightly different, and people you know will be there, but they act differently. And sometimes different places will be kind of combined together in some weird hybrid of like it can be weird. And that's
if I may just say something, I think the scientific thing about it is that it's all the memories from that specific day just kind of meshed up into one thing.
Yeah, but the thing I argue against that with is that I will have dreams about, and there'll be certain elements in there that did not happen that particular day.
True.
But like, and that is a good way to look at it, though. I think that it's your brain kind of combining multiple things that you don't think that you'd be thinking about. Like, because if you have a dream about something completely unrelated to what you were thinking about before you went to sleep, that happens all the time. I think like that your brain just kind of instinctively starts thinking about something else when you're asleep, and so that's what you see in your dreams. But I kind of will always have that kind of fun fan theory that we're seeing glimpses into parallel universes through
stuff
dreams.
like that. I'm not just gonna deny outright and say you're wrong. Like ideas with the afterlife or like spiritual reincarnation stuff, because we don't have proof that that's real necessarily, but we don't have proof that it's wrong. It's more belief in certain tiny things that could clue us into maybe that's it. I'm not gonna say it's outright fake, but I'm not gonna say it's like I believe in it fully,
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment, I think, because with me being a Christian, I believe in God, but I know that not everybody does. But there are a lot of people that are kind of in the middle. They don't necessarily believe in God, but they also can't deny that there is a higher power. And I know a lot of people that think that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you believe what you want, and sometimes it can't be proven. Or
right or wrong.
Right, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So, thanks for correcting me. But yeah, I think that's kind of my thing with the multiverse. We'll never know if the multiverse is real, but it's always kind of a question we'll have that maybe it does exist, but we just don't have a possible way to access it. So, all right, and our final one. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying maybe in the future.
And our final one is from Simon. Do you plan on coming back to WarioWare Dark Knights one day? If no, what was the main issue you have with the game?
I'd like to in the future. I know one of my friends is like remaking one of the modes. Well, not really remaking it because it's kind of basically completely different. But like they're using some ideas from it, a couple of them. But I'd like to come back to some of the ideas in the game in the future. I really don't think I'm ever gonna fully remake the game because it was just way too ambitious as is. But there was a lot of ideas in the game that, looking back, are actually really good. More specifically, 1988 mode. That was like a really cool idea I had in it that I definitely want to revisit someday. With like Origins being FNAW 2 and combined with FNAW 2 and stuff, and it was really cool. Either way, if I ever return to it, it'll definitely be a way smaller game with better graphics, better gameplay, and such. The usual stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that completes all of the questions we have received for this episode. Yeah, we've been going for a while. Been going for almost an hour and a half. So, but thank y'all for sending in your questions. This was great. Once again, if you guys would like to be featured in future episodes, if you want to have questions in future episodes, follow me on Twitter. Keep an eye out for my community tab posts and join my Discord server. Link in the description. I have ways to send in your questions. Taco Games, this was fun, man. Thank you for coming on. And if you guys would like to watch Season 3, I have it in the description and also in the iCards up there in the annotations, so you can check that out, listen to how previous episodes were, along with Season 2. I have a lot of awesome people on Season 2 as well. I don't know who I'm going to be interviewing next, but we will be figuring that out in the next couple weeks. I'm going to try to be more consistent with these episodes and have like more than 8 episodes in just this season. I want to have more than that, but let's go with it.
I could give you a couple suggestions on who you can interview. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, sure, go for it.
Well, for one, maybe number one Jenny. That could be cool. Like, if you know who they are.
I don't think I
They
do.
they make a lot. They make some music for FNAW, and also for they made some other projects. They make some OSTs for just FNAF fan games and stuff, and they're really talented. They haven't made. I don't think they've made any. No, they have made one. It's canceled. They're really talented. Yeah, I can mention some others some other time, but I can't really remember in detail right now who you should. But yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely keep that person in mind. I know we're going to be having probably Damien Gamer on here. He made the Genius Night. We'll probably have Wily Dog as well, who he's a big part of Mac Tonight Nostalgia Attack, and just some other YouTubers and developers, and I'm looking forward to that. But for now, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate y'all sitting through this, and hope this was interesting. And I'll see you guys probably not next week, but as soon as I can get another guy on here, and or another guy or gal, and we'll do another episode when we do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out seasons 1 through 3 if you haven't. Go check out Taco Games. I'll be linking his YouTube and Twitter in the description. Is there any other things you'd like me to link? I know that your game, Joel. I'll link that so people can find your stuff.
That. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't post that much. I mean, I could give you the link to it later, I guess.
Yeah, we'll put all the links in there for those who are interested in checking all that out. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you all enjoyed listening. See y'all later.
Guys.
Peace.